Pwede naman, di ba? That would be possible. Even if Pastor Bal is everywhere, he can still serve the word, di ba? Share the word and deliver the word for us anywhere. Thank you again thank you Lord again for this opportunity to be used for His kingdom. I know it's not being easy. Di po napakadali to be used on His work. Amen po ba sa mga ministry dyan, ministry leaders, ministry workers? The enemy will always make a way, di ba? So you will get frustrated, di ba? Mga challenges. But to be used by the Lord is really a great thing, an opportunity to be grasped, right? Di ba? To be thankful for. Amen po. So before we begin, can you just turn to your neighbor. High five or hello again. Today we will talk about the gospel. The gospel. So can we just say, did you hear the gospel? Turn to your neighbor and ask, did you hear the gospel already? Did you hear the gospel? What is their response? Ano po sagot nila? What was their response? Yes or no? Who said yes? Can you please raise your hands? Did you hear the gospel? Have you heard of the gospel already? Have you heard of the good news? Raise your hands if you heard it. So does it mean everyone else doesn't know what the gospel is? Sure? Okay, today we will talk about the good news, the gospel. Kasi when Christmas times comes, we are so focused with a lot of different things, worldly things, that we sometimes forget about the good news, the gospel. So today we will talk about Matthew. How many books do we have regarding the gospel? Gospel of Jesus. Anyone knows? Yeah, today we will quickly go through on the gospel, but we will be focusing on Matthew 2, 1 to 12. So I apologize for our non-Tagalog speaking friends here. I'll be speaking Filipino language from time to time, which is I'll be more comfortable because I might know speak later. Yeah, I only brought in few English words with me, so if I run out, that means that's it, I'm done. So tapos na po. But today, I want us to focus on this story. We all know about the gospel. I'm sure you've heard about it, especially for those who grew up at the church, diba? That is one thing that we should never, one story that we should never miss to share with the kids, diba? We all know about Virgin Mary, right? Joseph. 3 wise men, the stars, King Hero, those are the main characters. In fact, I believe 3 years ago, we made a drama here, diba? About the nativity. So we will be talking about that and focus on the message of that story. So my prayer today is not just to tell a story. Kasi sometimes I tend to be like, in corporate world, you do presentations and you tend to just tell a story. But today my prayer is just to deliver the message that the Lord through me wants to deliver. So can we just pray with me? And just invite His presence today. Father, we thank you, God. Father, you are truly the Most High King, O God, that we serve. And Father, we just commit to you this time, this moment. Open our hearts, open our minds. Lord, free us from any distractions. May we just hear your voice. Take control, O God, of my preparations. But send, O God, every words through my lips, O Father, that we will all be blessed with your goodness, with your grace, with your mercy. Father, we thank you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen and amen. Alright, shall we begin? So today, our topic is about worship the King. Worship the King, the true King. We all have all our kings. In fact, meron po tayong mga priorities which becomes the King in our lives. So today, how we truly worship the Lord. How do we truly worship our King? So that will be our focus, our main theme for today. It's Matthew 2, 1 to 12. Is this working? Alright. So here's the gospel. Yan na. That's the screen. How many? How many books in the Bible? 4. So we have Matthew, John, Mark, and Luke. They all talk about the story of Jesus coming to us, right? The Messiah. That is the gospel. That is the good news. The Savior coming for us. But they focus on different themes. Yung topic po nila was different. Their view was different. So let's quickly look at this. Matthew focused on Jesus as being the King. Mark's the main theme was about Jesus being a servant, a suffering servant. Luke as a God, and lastly John as the Savior for all. But today we will talk about Matthew with Jesus as being the King. So let's, for those who are attending our live groups, we have been studying the Gospel Project. We are now in Volume 7. Tama ba? Where's Ate Odette? Volume 7. We started just 2 weeks ago. That is the Gospel Project. And it started with Matthew. Matthew sharing the story of Jesus being in the line of David and Abraham, the genealogy. That's why it started, diba? Who did the live group last 2 weeks ago? We talk about Jesus being in the line of David, of King David and Abraham, and how Abraham was blessed by the Lord, that through him, diba, all the nations are blessed through King David, and then Joseph came from that line. But that will not be our focus today. Again, if you wanna really study about it, I encourage you, take a look again. That's the beauty of the Bible is. The first time, the second time, the third time you read it, each time you read it, it gives you a different perspective. Diba? Kasi every year, Christmas is here again. So what's different? Diba? So I encourage you, brothers and sisters, just to read through again the Bible. So we were talking about this nativity. Did I say it right? Nativity, right? Or nativity? Nativity. So this is what we know about nativity. I think meron tayo dyan sa harapan eh. So this is the common scenario when you talk about the nativity. We have the baby Jesus, right? We have the Virgin Mary, we have Joseph, and we have the 3 wise men. In fact, there's also shepherds and some animals, and then there's stars at the top. That is the nativity that we know of. Today, sorry guys, but I'll be telling you that is inaccurate. That is not the true nativity as shown in the Bible. We'll go through it, don't worry. So here is our text for today. Can you all read this? If you have your Bible or your phone with you, let's read this. Matthew 2, 1 to 12. After Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Judea, during the time of King Herod, Magi from the east came to Jerusalem and asked, "Where is the one who has been born King of the Jews? We saw his star when it rose and have come to worship him." When King Herod heard this, he was disturbed, and all Jerusalem with him. When he had called together all the people's chief priests and teachers of the law, he asked them where the Messiah was to be born. "In Bethlehem in Judea," they replied, "for this is what the prophet has written." So let's continue. 6. "But you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah. For out of you will come a ruler who will shepherd my people Israel." That is quoted from Micah, by the way. So 7. "Then he would call the Magi secretly and found out from them the exact time the star had appeared. He sent them to Bethlehem and said, 'Go and search carefully for the child. As soon as you find him, report to me, so that I too may go and worship him.'" And 9. Are still all reading with me? Okay, go on 9. "After they had heard the king, they went on their way, and the star they had seen when it rose went ahead of them until it stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw the star, they were overjoyed. On coming to the house, they saw the child with his mother Mary, and they bowed down and worshipped him. Then they opened their treasures and presented him with gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And having been warned in a dream not to go back to Herod, they returned to their country by another route." We are all familiar with this story. Amen? Can you raise your hands if you are aware of this story?
Yeah.
We've seen it in a lot of movies, a lot of dramas, especially, or skit, kaya diba, mga presentations, especially on Christmas. Mary, Joseph, Mary bearing the child, then they had to flee to Bethlehem, and then the kings. We know all those story. But here's the thing. This is the nativity that we're talking about. The kings actually never made it to the manger. Did you know that? Hindi po sila nakaabot sa manger when Jesus is still a baby. In fact, he was around 2 years old nung nakarating na po sila kay Jesus. And it's in a house, not in a manger. So, and the 3 wise men, as we know them of, not really 3. Kasi it was just assumed. Kasi there were 3 kids. There might be more. But this is just how it was portrayed as the time went on. But as what the Bible says, we will know that this is not really the case. Are we shocked? Not really. Or you don't care. As long as I have Jesus. So, for today's text, I want us to focus on these 3 types of people. King Herod, the 3 wise men or the Magi, and of course, the high priests. It is my prayer, it is my hope that when we leave this place, we will examine ourselves, evaluate ourselves. Tingnan po natin ang ating mga sarili. When we heard about the gospel, when we heard about the Lord, when we heard about the Messiah, the Emmanuel is with us, how did we respond? And how are we responding right now? Are we one of this? Are we like King Herod? Are we like the Magi? Or are we like the chief priests? So let's go with our text. Now, the king at that time is Herod. King Herod. So let's read the verse. After Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Judea, during the time of King Herod, Magi from the east came to Jerusalem. So eto na, may mga king na tayo, or the wise men traveling, looking for Jesus. And they stumbled on Herod, King Herod. Sino ba si King Herod? Who is King Herod? Let's examine him for a bit. Who is he actually? Ito, I'm taking this picture. Maybe, ito ba yung actual na itsura niya? I don't know. But Wikipedia says this is King Herod. So, who is King Herod? Herod is the king of the Jews only by title. He is not really the king of the Jews. He was just appointed by Rome. Kasi when Rome conquered lands, they need someone, right? They need someone to govern that land. So technically, he is just the king of the Jews by title. But he is also known as King Herod the Great. He is great kasi he's good in building structures. He's good in building temples. But there's the other side of him. May kabilang side po siya. Malamang makakarelate tayo. Mabait tayo, di ba? We are all good in a lot of ways. We are nice people, friendly people. But there's also this side of us. There's this other side of us, which is also true with King Herod. Ano po yung other side na sinasabi ko that I'm talking about? He is a paranoid. He loves power. He loves control. And he wants to drive away anyone, anything that goes on his way. Pag may umahad lang po sa kanya, he'll make sure tatanggalin yun. Oh, may nakaka-relate na po ba sa atin? Are we able to relate? We would like control. We would like to have that power. I want to be in control of my life. Si Herod po, he killed some of his sons and a wife. Even his uncles, cousins, even high priests, just to stay in power, just to stay on that throne, just to be the king that he wants to be. Ganyan po si Herod. In fact, in verse 16, after the verses that we just read, he killed babies, diba? Young boys, less than 2 years old and below. Sobra po no? Sobra. Have you guys known anyone like that? Yan po si King Herod. He loves power and he loves control. In fact, ito po yung sabi ni Augustus, the Roman Emperor, he said, bitterly, that it was safer to be Herod's pig than Herod's son. Wow! Mas okay pa daw po maging utusan or maging, alaga lang. Parang lowly servant ni Herod than being one of his sons or being one of his family. Ganyan po ka-cruel. Ka-cruel si Herod. That's him. And so, let's continue with our text. Magi from the east came to Jerusalem and asked, "Where is the one who has been born King of the Jews? Where is the King who has been born King of the Jews?" Now he talks, the text talks about the Magi. Who are these Magi? Magi, the word that we know right now comes from this. Anyone can guess? What word do you think came from this term, Magi? Anyone can guess? Magic, right? Magic. These are also known as magicians at that time. They are sorcerers. They do black magics. They are the advisors and consultants of the governors and the kings at that time. They interpret many things. That's how powerful these Magi are. But here's the thing. They are also Gentiles. This particular wise men that visited Herod and looking for Jesus are Gentiles. They don't know they don't have Jesus yet in their lives. And yet, they are looking for Jesus. That is the wise man that we're talking here. And there's no record po, where did they really came from. It just says here the east. East maybe from Babylon area, right? So there was no record. And also there's no record how many of them. Most likely, it's like a troop. They have their own army. And they're powerful. They are rich, wise men. Kasi they brought gifts eh. Di ba what did they brought? Gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Those are expensive stuff at that time. And yet they brought those. These are the magi, are the wise men that we're talking about here. And so when King Herod heard this, he was disturbed, and all Jerusalem with him. For sure, di ba? Hindi naman talaga siya hari ng Jews. And yet he was asked by this magi, where is the king born of the Jews? So as someone who loves power, as someone who likes control, as someone who likes to be seated on the throne, and someone asks you this, what do you think what will be your response? Of course, di ba? You'll be disturbed. Naku, may papalit na. Baka may kumuha sa trono ko. I don't want that to happen. Diba? So, he was disturbed, and all Jerusalem. Kasi kapag ikaw ang hari, for sure, kung mainit ang ulo mo, what usually happens? Everything around you, di ba, na-apektuhan. Parang sa bahay lang yan. Pag mainit ang ulo ni Mami, ano nangyayari sa bahay? Lahat umiinit ang ulo. Sorry sa analogy. But I just feel, ganun eh. Diba? We have our own subjects, and we have our own kingdom, each and one of us. And for this case, kay Herod, same thing is happening. So, all the entire Jerusalem is also disturbed because Herod is disturbed. And so, what did he do next? He called together all the people's chief priests and teachers of the law. He asked them where the Messiah was to be born. In Bethlehem in Judea, they replied, for this is what the prophet has written. Now we go with the chief priests. Ito na yung mga advisors, consultants na ng hari ni King Herod. Who are they? They know the scriptures really well. They study really deep. They know everything that has happened in the Old Testament and whatever will be written in the New Testament. They're deeply involved on the scripture. But how did they respond then about the Messiah? If you are on that time, and if you really are concerned about the Messiah, and you know, because you have been studying the prophecies, you have been learning what will happen in the future, and you know, you are aware that a king is coming, that will erase all your sins. Diba? Yung response mo is to look for that king. But for them, hindi. They did not even compete with this Magi. Diba? If you heard about someone looking about the Messiah and you know that's gonna happen, you will start looking for the Messiah as well because you know it's true, you know it's happening. And yet, they just don't care. Just live each day as if they're not expecting anything. So yan po ang mga high priests that we're talking on this text. So let's continue. Then Herod called the Magi secretly and found out from them the exact time the star had appeared. He sent them to Bethlehem and said, "Go and search carefully for the child. As soon as you find him, report to me so that I too may go and worship him. Wow! Totoo lang ba? Really? He's saying, find him! Go and search for him in Bethlehem so I can also worship him. True? We just talked about Herod. Who Herod is. Diba? Who is he again? Napaka-cruel, who loves power, who loves control, who loves the throne. And he will respond with that words, find him so I can also worship him. You know, knowing him, that is not the case. He just want him eliminated. He would just want him erased. And so, let's move on to verse 9. Let's go through it again. After they had heard the king, they went on their way, and the star they had seen, when it rose, went ahead of them until it stopped over the place where the child was. Here's another thing. There is a star. So, it's impossible na comment lang siya. Kasi you can't follow the comment kasi it keeps moving, diba? And here's another supernatural thing happening in this text. There's a star they're following, and it moves, and it waits for them. And what happens next? It rose, went ahead of them until it stopped over the place where the child was. Have you seen a star moving and then it stopped lang? Hindi comment hindi aeroplano. Maybe it's just a plane. But this is really supernatural thing. God is really working with the Magi. So when they saw the star, they were overjoyed. And on coming to the house, they saw the child with his mother Mary, and they bowed down and worshipped him. So naabutan lang nila si Mary and the child. Probably, most likely si Joseph is working, he is away. So what they did is they bowed down and worshipped him. Then they opened their treasures and presented him with gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And having been warned in a dream not to go back to Herod, they returned to their country by another route. In the Gospel project that we're studying, ito po, this depicts the true picture of what's happening. See those Magi, there are 4 in there, or maybe more, we don't know. But what we all know is that there are 3 gifts that were brought to Jesus. And that is Jesus as a child, hindi na po siya baby. In fact, the Gospel Project manual that we're reading says this. By the time the Magi arrive, Joseph and Mary are living in a house. So when they arrive, they are already in a house, not in a manger, as what we have all known. The word used to describe Jesus indicates that he was a young boy. He approximately 2 years old. We could call him a toddler. So he is already a toddler. That's why we should refer to him when the wise men came as a child, as a toddler, not a baby anymore. The wise men fell to their knees in worship, and of all their vast knowledge and authority, there was something they still lacked, something that drove them to travel all the way from Persia. Ito na po yung mga Magi. They all should be contented with their lives. These are all rich men. They have the power. They're being consulted by the kings. In fact, ang tawag po sa kanila, kingmakers. Before a king will be enthroned, they are being consulted. They're being asked. They're being asked for anything about the king. Everything about the king. So they decided that. And see how powerful they are already. They don't need a Messiah. In fact, they don't need to know about Jesus. But still God is really working miraculously. He's using those magi to again to fulfill what he has promised from Abraham all the way up to now. So that journey that they took might have taken 2 years. They found all they longed for in this simple house. They offered Jesus their gifts that will provide for the family escape to Egypt. So yung gift na yun, importante. Kasi they had to escape, di po ba? They had to travel. So that's where probably what they have used for their journey, their travel. So as I have said po kanina when we started, I want us to really focus on the 3 types of people that we've been talking about. As we leave this place, mga kapatid, brothers and sisters, let's once again contemplate on what Christmas is. What is the true message of Christmas? Kasi a lot of times we were being distracted po with the celebration, with the gifts. Ano kayang matatanggap ko this year? Saan ako bibili? Saan ako magsha-shop? Should I just go online? We are so very much occupied with a lot of things po. Masyado po tayong nagiging busy sa hindi naman po dapat. We spend time in our effort. It's not really, shouldn't be the priority as we celebrate Christmas. Our focus as we go through this Christmas. So, eto po yung, we skip this when we read all the passages. If you notice, this is from Micah. I think Micah 5, 6. This is a prophecy. But you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah. For out of you will come a ruler who will shepherd my people, Israel. This is the true ruler. This is the true king. What is a ruler? What is a king? Diba? They govern people. They have people that supports them, that submits to them. But also, he is not just a ruler. Kasi ruler, yes, he is a hero, he's a ruler. A lot of kings has passed, diba? We have the ruler. But he is also a shepherd. A shepherd. What does a shepherd do? He takes care of people. That is the difference of Jesus as a king with all the other kings. He is a ruler, yes, but he is also a shepherd who has concerns for you, for me, for all of us. And so we are all familiar with this passage. John 3:16. What is John 3:16 again? For God so loved the world that He gave His only one and only Son, that whoever believes in Him shall not perish, but have. He gave Jesus. He gave His one and only Son for us. Sa totoo lang po, our end is supposed to be condemnation. But with God, with Jesus coming here on earth, we are all being saved. We are all being favored with this love. And so, we've heard about the gospel now. We've been reminded about the gospel. So here's the question. What is your response? How are you responding? Will you be like Herod? Again, Herod, who is he? He is a king who likes control over everything that's around him. magiging hero din po ba tayo? Lord, I know you're a king, you're a Messiah. Yes, Jesus, I know you died for me. You're here for me. But sorry, Lord, can I be a king on my throne muna? This is my kingdom. Lord, Christmas naman eh. It's Christmas naman, Lord. Pwede ba focus muna ako dito? Next year na lang ulit. I enjoy muna ako sa party, Father. Lord, dito muna ako. Or maybe, since we want control, we want everything removed, taken out on what's getting on our way. Maybe meron tayong kapatid, families, or brothers and sisters reminding us, and we don't listen to them. Because we want things our way. We still want to be king of our own world. We have our own kingdom that we want to govern by ourselves. We have our own throne. Will you be like Herod? Or maybe, are you this high priest? Yes, I have studied the Bible end to end. I've read the Bible end to end 10 times. Kabisado ko lahat. I know every verses, every books, every chapters in the Bible. I know all the characters, all the stories in the Bible. But is that where it ends? Is that where it stops? Every Sunday we heard about the gospel, the Lord being for us. But what are we doing? How are we responding? Is that just an intellectual thing in our lives? It's just the knowledge that we keep in ourselves. Just in our heads. Yun na lang po ba yun? I go to church, I do ministries. That should be good. I know who Jesus is. I know Abraham. I know David. I know the lineage. I know the genealogy of Jesus. I know what happened in the Old Testament, the New Testament. But that's it? Or are we going to be like the Magi? When they heard about the Lord, when they heard about the Messiah, they actually went looking for Him. Gave up everything that they have there, all the comfort that they have from where they came from, and offered the expensive things. They offered everything. They went for a journey just to see the Lord. Brothers and sisters, that should be, I believe, our response to the gospel, to the good news. That we have the Messiah, the King with us. And we should worship Him. Papurihan natin siya in Filipino. Araw-araw, every day in our lives. Hindi lang po every Sunday. Hindi lang po when we sing here on the stage. Hindi lang pag nagba-Bible study tayo. Hindi lang pag maganda ang ating buhay. But we serve Him. We worship Him in every way, in everything that we can. Our lives is just declaring how great, how good, how majestic our Lord is. You might ask, you might say, I don't have the gold. Wala akong gold, wala akong frankincense, wala akong myrrh, wala akong mahalagang bagay that I can give. But think about it again. Think about it again. God has blessed you enormously than you can have. You just have to refocus. Change your perspective. God has blessed us. The fact that you are here, I believe God has done a miracle already in your lives. And He will keep doing it. as long as you put your worship, your trust in Him. That is the gospel, mga kapatid. That is the good news. That He came for you, for me, that He died to save us. We invite all the worship team to please come up as we close. So here is the challenge. Here is the challenge. We know about the gospel. We know about the good news. But what are we doing? How are we responding every day? Do we only go to Him just because of the many things that He can give us? Or should it be the other way? What can I give you, Lord? What can I give you, Jesus? What can I offer you? Because you love me so much. This Christmas, let's once again remember that goodness that He has given us. Yes, we will celebrate. We will enjoy this moment. Hindi naman po KJ si Lord eh. Hindi naman po sinasabi niya na, just sit on a corner and think about me. No. He wants us to enjoy Him. Celebrate with Him. But don't forget, on top of everything, above everything, we have the Messiah. We have the Lord with us. And He is for us. He loves us. He loves you. He loves you. Yes, oh Father. Can we just bow our heads? Yes, oh Father, thank you, Lord, that I am here to hear about your message. This is never, ever an accident, oh God. I need to be reminded on what you have done for me 2,000 years ago, Lord. Father, I want you to be the King of my life. Be enthroned, O God, in my tiny kingdom. Take control, O God, of everything. Father, nakakapagod po. Nakakapagod po, O God, to be in charge of my life. I don't have the direction. I don't know where I'm going. But Father, I want peace. Peace coming from you. I want Jesus, my Savior, my Redeemer. Father, forgive me for all the sins that I have done. And as I celebrate this Advent, oh God, this joyful season, I want to focus on you. As I celebrate, oh God, as I enjoy the gifts that I'll be receiving, instill in my heart the most valuable gift that I can receive. It's you, Jesus. Thank you. Thank you, Lord. Father, help me. Help us that every day we will truly worship you. Worship the true King, the one and only King, above all the kings. Father, help us be a channel of your goodness. we may also share this joy that we're experiencing to everyone around us. To share the gospel of God, the good news of Jesus. Thank you, Lord. Father, as we leave this place, help us contemplate, evaluate ourselves, who we really are. How do we see ourselves? Thank you, Father. Thank you, Lord. Be magnified, Father, in this church. Be magnified in our lives. Let us be a reflection of who you really are. Thank you, Father. This we pray in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Shall we give the Lord a praise? Alright, we just want to acknowledge our guests with 2 children. Okay, we have. They need to. They're requesting for prayers. Yeah. So, council, after 2-hour service, can we just go to them and just talk to them and just pray with them and just have them feel that we are a family here. Thank you again for being here. So, yeah, they needed prayers, brothers and sisters. Okay, praise the Lord and celebrate Him. Praise the Lord.